Yo, what's going on, people? This is your man Ivan Tosin, certified peer support specialist here at Capital Area Human Services. And today I got with me
Samia Taylor, Capital Area Human Services Social Media Director. If you don't already know, which you should, not to toot my own horn, but
I hear a little tooting there. Toot, toot. But look, y'all, welcome back to the area, man. Look, thanks for stepping into the area. Hey, look, as a matter of fact, we appreciate each and every one of y'all who view us, who are liking this post, who are viewing this post on YouTube, posting it to Facebook, sharing it to your social media platforms. We want to encourage you to do this more. Please, man, help us out. This is a lot of great information that we have on here, and we need to get it out to the general public, right? And we appreciate our in-house staff for the most part too, because a lot of you have been coming up to us in the work environment, letting us know that you all are engaging with it, that you're loving the content, man. And look, we need y'all to just keep pushing it, man, helping us out, get this thing out here to the masses, right? And look, I do know we got a plan to kind of follow up with a lot of staff to get it out there, right?
Yeah, so I'm coming to all the clinics. I hope y'all are ready because we finna figure it all out for y'all. Make sure y'all sharing this podcast with everybody, your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your uncle, your cousin, your god sister, the people you see on the street. Let them know to tune into the area. I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, keep sending it to Facebook, Instagram, I don't care, email, text message, wherever, whatever you can do. We want to see you do it.
That's right.
So today we have a little bit of a different episode for y'all. Usually we have a guest, but today we are the guest. We are co-hosts. It's us.
I like that. Instead, she said, "Look, we are the guests."
We are the guests.
Ooh,
That's
preach.
So believe it or not, me and Ivan kind of come from very different backgrounds. So Ivan and I we're just gonna just chit chat a little bit. You know, we're gonna talk about addiction and what it means to be an addict. What that looks like from his point of view and from my point of view. Because I am asking the expert, if you will. I mean, he's not. You know, you're an expert in a sort. But
I'm an expert at using drugs, alcohol. I'm just playing. I mean, yeah, but no. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna, talk with Ivan, pick his brain a little bit about, all things addiction. So, Ivan, can you just tell us about what addiction is and what it looks like from your point of view, from your life experiences, all that kind of stuff?
Real talk. So, I said real talk. Anyways,
it is real talk.
It is real talk. Real talk, real results. Shout out to Tons of Miles, right?
Okay.
So, look, so let's talk about it. Dealing with addiction. So once again, I'm giving the expert view of the person that has been experimenting with drugs and alcohol throughout my life and had a past of being addicted, right? And so addiction for me, and I want to address it like this because I want to kind of knock that out in many different ways. I want to tell a story, right? And so because a lot of times people who have not been addicted, like yourself, they have questions on why do people get addicted? How do you know people get addicted? Like, what's the difference? All that kind of stuff, right? And so years ago, a girl I was dating, we had a conversation. We were sitting there talking, and so she was trying to get into the mind of a person who's been addicted, trying to understand it all, right? And so she asked me pretty much similar questions. How do you know when you're addicted? How did you get addicted? Like how do you even differentiate that? Like, yada yada, right? And so I asked her a question. I was like, look, tell me about your experience. Have you ever used drugs or alcohol, anything in your life? So she was like, yeah, I've smoked weed, I've drunk alcohol. So I was like, okay, cool. Tell me about it. How did it start? What happened?
Yeah.
So she was like, well, when I was in high school, I did it a few times, and then she was like, I went to college, and it happened a lot.
Yeah.
She was like, I partied a lot and did a lot of things in college, and then she was like, and then I graduated, and then she just got silent for a moment, and she was like, and I don't know, and it was just like it was just over. That phase of life was just over, and so I was like, well, see, to help her understand it or anybody understand it, I was like, well, that's the difference. For me, drugs and alcohol was not a phase of life.
Right.
It was my life.
Right.
You know, it wasn't like, no, okay, that's over. It was like, no, wherever I'm going, it's going. Like y'all remember my buddy? Wherever I go, he goes, my buddy. Hey, anyways, drugs and alcohol was my buddy. Wherever I went, it went. You know, because there was a dependency, there was an addiction to drugs and alcohol, and I needed it to function. You know what I'm saying? And so, anyways, that's one of the best ways that I describe, addiction sometimes for somebody who's trying to understand.
Right. And so do you think that mental health and addiction kind of coincide together? Do you think that it's some sort of imbalance when it comes to people who are addicts?
Yeah, so let me just say I'm not giving the credentialed expert reply to this. I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker. I am a registered addiction counselor, but right now I'm operating as a peer support specialist who is simply a person who has a history of using drugs, alcohol, or dealing with mental health challenges, and is now on the other side of that and can help facilitate change, right? And so being a peer support specialist, I did this last time. What was that question? God dog it.
If maybe you thought mental health and
mental health, right.
coincide. Yeah.
So for me, my opinion is that you can experience dealing with mental health challenges. You can have mental health challenges as a result of using drugs, right?
Right.
You may not have a diagnosis, of depression, anxiety, PTSD, or all these things, but you can definitely have an experience based on using drugs, or what we know of as drug induced. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people have experienced depression, anxiety, as a result of substance that they use, and it caused them to feel this, right, or experience this mental health challenge. And then you have a person who is diagnosed, right? And they may be using drugs, but they're more so using to deal with what's going on.
Cope.
You know what I'm saying? And so they may have not have received the proper treatment, if you want to say, to receive the proper medication, or maybe the medication they have is not working, or whatever. That can go many different ways. But I guess to answer the question is that I do believe that there are two sides to it, that a person can have drug-induced mental health challenges, and you can just have a person who just dealing with mental health challenges who are using drugs to deal with their mental health. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So do you think, do a lot of people just start using, do addictions just form kind of naturally, or do you think that there's usually causes to it? Do you think I just dabbled in a little alcohol, now I just can't stop drinking it, or do I just did drugs one time and now I can't stop doing it? Do you think, or it's like I need to do this in order to deal with whatever else life is throwing at me?
Yeah, so I mean, I believe most people who have done drugs and alcohol, whether you were became addicted or not, we all start for similar reasons, which is to just, it's a part of the crowd. It could be a part of your culture. I know in some cultures, like alcohol is a part of the culture. People actually just drink. You know what I'm saying? I think we can speak for that here in Louisiana. I mean, drinking is a part of everything. And so even in airports, like you go to other airports, other places, like, they don't serve alcohol, so it's like, what?
It's 7 a.m. and there are people, the bar is full.
The bar is full.
Yeah.
And so, there are many different reasons why that are seemingly innocent, if you want to say, of why people may have started to use, you know what I'm saying, or experimented, with using substances. But as far as addiction is concerned, I believe, in my opinion, that is something that's developed. Now, some people may argue that they were born that way. I was born with this addictive personality, addictive gene, which can be true. I mean, I don't know how to prove any of that. You know what I'm saying? I just know for me personally, looking back on my past, I feel like it was something that developed, and it became a hook, if you want to say, based on things that were already there internally. And when I say things that were there, I can look back and say that, yes, I was dealing with an identity crisis. Yes, I was dealing with feelings of low self-esteem. Yes, I was dealing with things that I masqueraded pretty good, you know what I'm saying? But it was there nonetheless. And as a result of experimenting with drugs and alcohol, I learned that, oh man, this helped me to feel better about these things. You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, that's where the dependency came in. Now, looking at full-blown addiction, I can't stop. I don't have the ability to say I'm going to quit right now. Like the girl I was talking to years ago, like
Right.
in her story, she had that ability that when she left college, that part of her life was over. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that ability. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't have that choice. The choice was made for me as an addict. Like, no, you don't have a choice. You're going to do what I say.
Right.
You're going to use today. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so, anyways, I don't even know if I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Okay, did I answer the question? Y'all let us know in the comments because I can go off. But anyways, yeah.
So why do people? I know you know so much more about addiction nowadays, about drugs that are bad for you. You learn, people learn about it. Why do people continue to use it, knowing that it could potentially lead to addiction and cause them harm as their family harm? Like, what do you think? Why do you just?
I mean, I feel like every human being can relate to this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we can look at the person that's using drugs and alcohol, and because it's affecting the family member and whatnot, and they can, it's personal, you know what I'm saying? But if we were to be honest, like we all have experienced that in some way, form, or fashion. And so whether that's, we're adults here. I mean, if kids are watching this, use this as education, but in sexual health, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I know certain things are not good. I shouldn't be doing this in this way,
Right.
but it's still enticing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or even as a child, you know what I'm saying? Your mommy tells you not to do something. It makes you want to do it
Do
more.
even more.
You know
Yep,
what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
so I think as a result of being human, we can all relate to that in some sense. In dealing with drugs and alcohol, whatnot, I lost myself. I did lose myself. I had a point. I was getting there based on the question. What was the question again? Ask me again. I promise I'm going to get there. Ask it again.
The question was just like, why do people continue to do drugs when
Right,
they know
right.
it causes them harm?
That's right. And so the thing is that I don't want to get too deep with it, but a person who's dealing with addiction gains a certain feeling that a person who's is not dealing with addiction doesn't.
Right.
And so that feeling is a feeling of control.
Uh-huh.
A person who's not dealing with addiction may get a sense of being out of control.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they say things like, "Oh, I've had enough," or no, I'm good. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Or they may have a night or something like that they did it in excess, and then they like, "Oh no, not again.
Yeah.
I'm good." And that person who's dealing with addiction a lot of times, and this is not always, but a lot of times, there's never this feeling of, "Oh, I've got enough." You know what I'm saying? Actually, I feel more in control when I use. I feel like I'm doing better. I feel like life is peaches and cream. I actually feel out of control when you take that away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I feel like, oh
Okay.
Lord, I don't even know what to do. I'm having anxiety. And so this can be seen as an emotional detox in some ways.
That is
because
a very different approach that I have not thought about. But
Yeah.
that's a good point. Continue.
I mean, it makes sense though.
Yeah,
You know what
and
I'm saying? I think it makes sense.
It makes great
sense
sense.
to me.
It does make sense. I never thought about it like that. So
yeah.
the sense of taking away your control. That
Yeah.
okay.
And so, and I mean, and that's the point. Is like we get a sense of being in control. A person who is not get a sense of being out of control. And so, even going back to drawing that line between a person that's addicted and not addicted, sometimes you can gauge it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you feel out of control or do you feel in control?
Right.
And once again, I'm sorry. I'm not speaking as a professional. I'm speaking as a peer support specialist who's still a professional, but more so based on experience.
Right. So a lot of times when we think about, addiction, we think about, doing hard drugs such as cocaine, heroin, whatnot. But we never consider, or most people don't consider, alcohol being a drug, caffeine being a drug,
Right.
anything else like that. So what do you think those things are just as bad? Like, do you think they're equivalent in some sense? Like, do you?
Yeah, I mean, like let's say take caffeine for one. I mean, it's not an intoxicating drug, but
Right.
it's still a drug.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there are intoxicating drugs and then there are non-intoxicating drugs, but nonetheless, they're still drugs like Tylenol.
It's
still
a drug. It's a drug,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? Like these are all drugs. But I don't know why I always forget the question. Golly, my mind is just so words. That might have came from my using years ago. Anyways, what the question was?
We're just talking about whether or not we think alcohol is
Right,
in the
right.
same realm
Yeah.
or just as bad. Because people, from my personal experience, I just drink. I just drink every day. I'm not. I could be using drugs. I'm not doing
Right.
that. So.
I got you.
How do we combat that?
So the thing is this: a lot of times people want to justify their use, and I'm speaking more so for a person that's addicted. They want to, they definitely want to justify so they can continue doing what they're doing. They don't want to feel like, they don't really think it's bad. They don't feel like it's bad. And what better way to feel like that than to measure myself up to a person that I think is worse than me?
Yeah.
Then that gives me the ability to definitely feel superior, feel great, feel like, hey, I'm not as bad as you. I'm okay. Even though we may end up in some of the same places like rehab, jails, prisons. We're all in there together. But I feel like I'm better because I'm not doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Even from a charge standpoint. Oh, I just stole, some clothes out of the store. Oh, you got, you robbed somebody. You're a criminal.
Right. But you're in
I think
here
we're
with
all
me.
in here for criminal activity.
Right, absolutely.
So at the end of the day, I think people a lot of times want to use that to justify their use. But I will say this, a lot of times people don't, it's hard for people to see it sometimes because, let's just speak for alcohol and marijuana, it's very, at least in society now, it's more normalized. You know what I'm saying? It's sold in stores, even marijuana. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, you can actually buy it out of the stores. I mean, even when we look in our own backyard, or at least in Louisiana and places like New Orleans, fact check me on this, but I think you can have up to 2 grams on your person, which you, and I was just in New Orleans doing some film work, and they literally had a truck on the side on Canal Street, and they were selling marijuana from the truck. It was marketed, branded, hey, buy marijuana. I mean, you can actually buy it.
Absolutely.
And so saying that to say that sometimes it's hard for people to see that because it's like, well, they sell it in the store.
Right.
I don't have to go and sneak and buy this anywhere.
Yeah.
It's legal. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, if you are an addict, whether it's legal or not, just like alcohol, it can be very detrimental for you. Now, for a person who may be social use, look, it's not my personal, to sit here and say, okay, that's bad for you. I can't not decide that. You know what I'm saying? There are people who can socially do things. You know what I'm saying? There are people who socially smoke weed. You know? I mean, sometimes it's not a conversation. It's something that we want to talk about and be real about, and we want to see that, okay, just because you do that, like, oh, you got a problem, that's bad. Like, okay, yeah, I don't do it, but it doesn't mean that this person may not be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not telling anybody to go out here and experiment and just see, hey, let's see if you're addicted or not. Like, no, we don't want to play those games. But once again, I think it's on the individual to realize or to diagnose themselves to say, okay, I have a problem with this. I do think it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem. Hey, we're all entitled to our own views and opinion, and I believe it's a subjective thing. But once again, I don't know if I answered the question again. In the comments, y'all drop down. Let me know. Is Ivan talking all over the place? Because I may be.
So what do you think dependency and addiction, the difference is? Do you think that they coincide with each other? Do you think they're pretty much synonyms for one another? Or do you think dependency and addiction are 2 different things?
Once again, personal, no professional opinion. For me, I feel like it's a very fine line, but when you deal with stages of addiction, so I remember learning about the stages of addiction, and it made a lot of sense to me as a person who used, drugs and alcohol in my life. And so in the beginning stages, you are experimenting, you're learning, and from there you kind of start moving into trusting, you know what I'm saying? And as a result of trusting, you're now in this kind of dependency phase. And I do believe that kind of then tips you over as you continue to full-blown addiction, where you cannot stop, you know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, I'm not giving the book answer for this. I do believe it's a fine line. I do see a difference there personally, but sometimes I don't. It's just a fine line, you know what I'm saying? I believe there is a progression to go from here to here to here to full-blown addiction to now that, hey, I'm an addict or I'm now an alcoholic, you know? Right.
So for someone like me, and, if I'm witnessing, someone who I think may have an addiction, how would I approach that? What's your opinion, for someone who has had an addiction in the past? What is the best thing to help you? Or what can I do to help you?
Leave me alone. I'm just playing. So that's a very tough question because let's just speak for family. When a family member or members are dealing with a loved one that's addicted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there are a lot of emotions there. You know, there's resentments, there's, you know, anger, you know, which is kind of, kind of run together, different things, right? And so at the end of the day, I would have to elevate love above all, even though that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Because, you know, this person who you love and and this person who says they love you has possibly stole from you, has lied to you, has played games, manipulative games with you, have done things that you thought they would never do, and they're doing these things, and you believe that it's like, oh, they just evil, they don't love me, and it's none of that. This person is addicted, you know what I'm saying? And as we're talking, sometimes that's hard to understand for a person who's not addicted.
Right.
And I
Absolutely.
get it. You know, when you're in it and it's personal, like it hurts, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard to really understand and have a level of compassion, you know what I'm saying, for this person, especially when they continue to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard. But once again, I will just have to elevate the word love, and love is an action, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I believe that you have to live that out in different ways. Sometimes that's tough love, and that's hard. Sometimes that means, hey, there's nothing I can do for you anymore.
Yeah.
Not giving you money. Maybe not even giving you a place to stay. I know that sounds harsh. You know what I'm saying?
But, you know, yeah.
But sometimes as an addict, when I don't have any more resources, everything is run out, all the doors are closed, it may turn me to a point that I'm now having to take some drastic measures, but it may also push me closer to saying, you know what, I need to wake up. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as I can keep milking it, I'm going to milk it. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes showing tough love is one of those things, but then also bringing the feather in, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's easy to down that person, talk about them, drive them deeper into self-pity by saying, oh, yeah, you always messing up. Oh, you can't never do nothing right. They already know. They know that. They believe me, in and of themselves. They are doubting themselves every day. They're calling themselves a nobody. They're doing all kind of self talk that's not good. You know what I'm saying? And so anyways, I believe one of the best ways to combat that is to maybe you can let them know that, no, I'm not pleased, you know what I'm saying, with your actions, but nonetheless, I know who you are a great person, you have the potential to do this, you can do this, you can do this. Speak to who they truly are, you know what I'm saying, because you know who they truly are, but they have some things going on, you know what I'm saying, that may be hitting you personally, but you know that that's not who they are, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Speak to who they are, speak to who you know God has made them to be also, you know what I'm saying, and who they're called to be, you know what I'm saying? And like I say, I know it's tough, but you have to do that, because if not, you're only going to drive them out that deeper. So anyway, ask them if they want help. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they're probably going to say no. I'm just keeping it real, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't see the need for help. But all you can do is continue to try, you know what I'm saying? Be there for them, but don't enable them. I know that's a very, that's a tough one.
That's difficult. That's difficult.
Very
for
difficult, but that's the answer that I can give.
You ain't go check and see if it's still recording?
You heard something?
No, that's at 32, so.
Oh. Yeah, we rolling.
Okay, good.
We rolling.
Okay.
We rolling. Look, we ain't gonna even cut that out, because I feel that's just so real and organic. Hey, look, that's just the process of production, man. Look, anyways, go ahead.
So, just to land the plane, is there a cure?
You was about, land that plane.
I
like that.
Is there a cure to addiction?
No. Based on my learnings, being a member in AA, in my early recovery, going through treatment, going through AA, all that, based on what I've learned, there's no cure.
Okay.
You can treat it.
Yep.
And we treat it by going to our meetings, 12 steps, a relationship with your higher power, God of your understanding. It can be church, whatever.
Whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you. That is how you treat it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a firm believer that once an addict, always an addict.
Yeah.
Now, some people will, oh, no, you're speaking it on yourself. You do. But the logic or the psychology or whatever you want to say about behind that is this. When I say that I'm an addict and I'm an alcoholic, whatever you label you use, it's to remind myself that I can never be the person that can normally
Right.
be normal, if you want to say.
Yeah.
And when I say normal, that line that we drew between me and you is that person that now feels like, oh, I can control it. No, I can't.
Yeah.
I have to always remember, because I'm going to go back out into society around people
Right.
who may
are
be
doing
social.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
There may be a person who, man, look, I'm around people that do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're in traffic. You're going to smell it in traffic, and that may be okay.
Right here in Baton Rouge, you surely will. At the red light.
Anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I have to remember, that person has to remember for themselves that, okay, this is nothing that I can do successfully. Maybe they can, but I have to remember, the day that I forget that I'm an addict, that I'm an alcoholic, I may be tempted to believe that I'm cured, I'm okay, and that I can handle this. You know what I'm saying? Now, and that's for each person to decide, but you have to know for yourself, you know what I'm saying, this is something that I can and cannot do. But anyways, I don't believe that you can be cured because I think it's been proven and seen time and time again that people can pick up, start using, and they're worse off than before, or right back to where they left off, just in a short period of time, or may take some time, but they'll find themselves back in that place like, dang, how I got back here?
How did I get back here?
Yeah.
So just tell the people what the resources are here at Capital Area. You know, we are
we
are the resources.
We are the resources. We the plug. Y'all heard me? You know what I'm saying? Come get
Let
plugged
them know.
in.
Let them know.
Come get plugged in right here at Capital Area Human Services. So we have outpatient treatment for addiction. Of course, we have mental health outpatient services as well. We offer an array of services, but more in regards to substance use. We have our outpatient clinic on Wooddale Boulevard. We also have an all-males inpatient facility, which is called CARP. That's located on Wooddale. Yeah, that's on Wooddale as well. And so I'm sorry, I don't have the address. We might flash it on the screen.
Yeah.
There you go. That's how we do that. See? That's how we simplify stuff in the world of production when you forget. Yeah, that way. But anyways, we have a lot of things here at Capital Area. So look, I'm gonna just simplify it as come here to Capital Area. Look, I promise there are real people here, just like me, just like Samia. We want to help you. We live for this. Okay? Okay? Yeah. Come on in. That way.
All right, y'all. So thank you so much, Ivan, for giving me a little bit of insight.
Thank you, Samia.
Answering my questions that I genuinely, truly have. I've been working here at Capital Area for about almost 2 years now in March, and coming from a different background. I am not a peer support specialist, so I have several questions. So thank you so much for answering those, and thank you guys for tuning in to the area. Yet again, we will see you guys next month. Holla.
Holla.